Hi, and thank you for joining us. Tensions flared again in the Middle East as Iran and Israel exchanged direct strikes over the weekend. It was yet another test of the fragile ceasefire in the region, which President Trump announced more than 2 months ago. Israel launched attacks near Lebanon's capital city of Beirut early Sunday morning, despite a U.S. brokered truce. It said the strikes were in response to an earlier attack from Hezbollah, one of Iran's proxy groups. Iran then retaliated the same day with attacks in northern Israel. And that brings us to today, when both sides announced a pause in fighting after President Trump demanded an immediate ceasefire. What all this means for the conflict in the Middle East is unclear. President Trump says he wants a deal with Iran, but is open to resuming hostilities if necessary. CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata has more from Tel Aviv.
After a sharp escalation in hostilities overnight, we're now seeing a tentative de-escalation of sorts. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in a televised address that his country will hold off on attacking Iran again for now, but warned it stands ready to respond forcefully if strikes resume. That's after Israel launched strikes on military targets and an Iranian petrochemical complex. Iran, likewise, has warned its response will be severe if Israeli forces continue striking southern Lebanon, where Israel is fighting the Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps said earlier it had concluded its latest military operation, that barrage of roughly 24 missiles fired toward Israel, mostly in the north, that had air raid sirens sounding and warnings to take cover even here in Tel Aviv in the early hours. So the two countries haven't traded blows since April. And this de-escalation comes after President Trump brought pressure to bear on Netanyahu and the Iranian regime, earlier posting on Truth Social telling Israel and Iran to, quote, stop shooting, and saying both sides are looking to do an immediate ceasefire. Back to you.
Charlie D'Agata, thank you. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cortez joins us now. So what is the White House, Nancy, saying about this latest fire exchange between Israel and Iran?
Well, they say, Lindsay, that President Trump spoke to Netanyahu yesterday and again today. And Trump, speaking to reporters, posting on Truth Social, made it very clear that he had told Netanyahu that he didn't want him initially to even retaliate when Iran fired missiles into Israeli territory. He said something to the effect of, you know, the Iranians have been doing this forever, for decades, essentially arguing that Israel should turn the other cheek. Israel didn't do that. And today, in a video message, the Israeli Prime Minister, Netanyahu, said that he had spoken to President Trump and made the case that Israel has the right to self-defense. But then he did go on to say that Israel had agreed to stop firing for now. He didn't say that it was because of Trump's request. He said instead that it was because Iran had stopped firing on Israel.
How would you characterize their relationship right now?
I mean, it's clear that there are times when the Israeli goals and the Trump goals diverge, and those are times of tension. And President Trump made it clear in an interview with the Financial Times yesterday when he was asked about the tension in this relationship. He said, I'm the one who's calling the shots. And that was a really eye-opening quote. And there are times clearly when it is in Netanyahu's domestic interest in Israel to push back and to make it clear that he is his own man and that he is calling the shots that he sees fit for his own country. So that's the tension. The challenge for Trump is that he is very eager to get some kind of deal with the Iranians. That deal has proven elusive. He made the case on Truth Social that the reason he wanted the fighting to stop is because a deal is so close at hand. He has been saying that for weeks, Lindsay, and so far we haven't seen much evidence of that.
Nancy, let's go ahead and listen to what the president said about wars during his victory speech in 2024 and then what he told NBC Sunday.
They said he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
First of all, I didn't guarantee no war. Why would I have built the strongest military in the world? I built our military. I inherited a terrible military. We had no equipment. We had nothing. I built a tremendous military. Biden gave a lot of it away, but it's still a relatively small portion compared to what I built.
He also campaigned and was elected largely because of voters' belief that he would turn the economy around. And obviously, we know oil prices are so volatile right now. What is the president's strategy heading into the midterms?
to make the case over and over again, Lindsay, that gas prices will come down when the war ends, and also to point to bright spots in the economy, to talk about the stock market hitting record highs, to talk about job creation, which has been really robust for the past few months, and to try to either ignore or massage some of the data points that don't align with his vision.
Is that resonating?
It's hard to say. If you look at the polling, it does look like Republicans are struggling right now, but there are so many news cycles between now and the midterm elections, and it's going to depend in part on whether President Trump is proven right when he says that gas prices are going to come tumbling down. Most economists say that's not the case, but they have come down slightly from the highs that we've seen. The question is how much further they'll drop between now and midterm election day.
Nancy Cortez, thank you.